Hi everyone, I'm DeBretti. Welcome back to 5-Minute Quick Licks. This is part 2 in our exploration of the usage of open strings and scale your runs, commonly found in country music, but not limited to just country, also quite common in rock music. Towards the end of the last video, I had played a run in the key of A, and within a couple hours of posting the video, somebody asked me about playing that a little bit slower so they could see what it is that I was doing. So here we go. We're in the key of A. Now the pattern I'm using the same pattern that I did when we explored this in the key of E. I'm playing an open string followed by 2 fretted notes. So here's the lick slowly. So the way we break this down is we'll play open A, the 5th string open, reach back to string 6 to get our C and C sharp, which is frets 8 and 9. So I have 3 notes. And that's always the pattern. It's a triplet. You can think of it as a triplet. Okay, so we move on to the next string, sets of strings. String 4 is open D. Reach back to string 5 to get D sharp and E. Again, a very chromatic type of sound. Continue the pattern on to the next set of strings. Open G, reach back for G sharp and A. So far we have okay, we continue moving down. String 2, open B, reach back to string number 3 and get C and C sharp. Again, that's chromatic. Open B, C and C sharp, which are frets 5 and 6. Continue moving down to the open E. Reach back to string number 2, the 7th and 8th frets for F sharp and G. So from string number 2 open, I have the B. Reach back for C and C sharp. String 1. Reach back to string 2 for F sharp and G. And I usually repeat this pattern and I move it up. I play the open E again, then reach back to string 2 for G sharp and A, which is the 9th and 10th frets. So the whole lick slow. Towards the end, the last couple notes that I played, just to finish off the lick, I had C and C sharp on string 1, which is the 8th to 9th frets. So once again, so you probably noticed that the runs that we did in the key of E and now the one in A, they're ascending. You probably don't want to do a whole solo where you're just using open string runs, but if you stick them in, they're usually a great attention grabber. Usually when I do these, people will kind of turn a little bit to look at what I'm doing, because they sound so much different than when you're just playing a scale, which is, you usually can tell what that is. But with these, because of the chromaticism and the open strings, it sort of disguises the scale. You can connect it. Something like that, or maybe where I went into some kind of bend. So there's really a lot of things that you can do with it, and really just try and have fun and come up with your own ideas. So there's another idea that we're about to explore. I kind of stole this from Eddie Van Halen. Not necessarily the note choice, but just sort of the technique behind it. If you ever listen to Van Halen 1, there is a song called On the One where he does some ripping open string runs. As well as in Eruption, he also does some open string runs. So I try to take the technique that he used and apply it to the country genre. So what I'm doing here is I am playing sort of a double stop, utilizing pull-offs as well as fretted notes. The pull-offs will always pull off to the open string, and that's why they're considered open string runs. So where we'll begin this is on strings number 2 and string number 3. I will play E on string 3, which is fret number 9, and then I will cross over to string 2 on the 8th fret, which is the G note, and I'm going to pull off to the open B string. So it's a triplet again. Sounds a little funny, slow like that. So let me play the A chord so you can hear the tonality. Now, here's the lick again. Now what you can do is you can change the higher note, which would be on string number 2, the B string. Instead of playing the G on the 8th fret, I'll go to the A on the 10th fret, and I'll just alternate between those two notes. Kind of get this rolling effect. And then another cool thing that you can do is just take the original pattern and move it back a half step to create some tension. Again, this is that tension and resolution sound that I hear a lot when I'm doing these licks. So I'll play the first one again, which is the 9th and 8th frets, along with the pull-off to string number 2. And then I'll move it back just a half step. Again, it sounds really strange when you do it slow. Now if I cycle that higher note that I had done earlier on the 10th fret, you sort of have 3 parts to this. You have the first one, the half step back to the first one. Now here's the third one. That's when we went back to that higher note, the A on the 10th fret. So now if you've played country guitar before, you probably know that that's sort of a common pattern. Again, my note choice is what I'm trying to have some originality in the note choice. Okay, and then from there you can actually just go down chromatically. You can just start on the 9th and 8th frets where the lick begins and just move it down in half steps. That kind of resolves you in an A chord. And also when I was learning how to do this, I was kind of, I guess in the back of my mind, thinking a little bit about the tapping section of Eruption, how he sort of moves through arpeggios. I'm not necessarily doing like full arpeggios, but I am just doing movements, and they're chromatic, and they're all the same rhythm, that triplet rhythm. I'm not changing the rhythm at all, which in the Eruption tapping section, that's again a triplet going through that whole section. So rhythmically you're staying the same. And then you can even move down in half steps from here. And end on your A chord.